I think I am live now. Can anyone confirm if audio and everything is fine before I get started? Okay, I'm not sure like if in the fourth question n cube passes. At least that's not the intended solution, I believe. Okay, okay, I will start assuming that audio and everything is fine. You guys can let me know if it's the other case. So hello everyone. Today we would be discussing Leetcode biweekly 123 problems and their solutions. Let's start with the first problem, types of triangle 2. It says you are given a zero index array nums of size 3, which can form the sides of a triangle. A triangle is equilateral if all the sides, if it has all sides of equal length. A triangle is isosceles if it has exactly two sides of equal length. And a triangle is scalene if it has all its sides of different length. Return a string representing triangle that can be formed, or none if you cannot form a triangle. So if we look at the conditions, minimum conditions required to form a triangle, then the one condition we have is either if the largest side, sum of the smallest two sides, if it's less than the largest side, then you cannot definitely form a triangle. Like if you try to visualize it, this is the largest side, and if you try to add the other two sides, like this would be the area they would form. And they cannot form a triangle because this is how it would look like. And the I think that's the necessary condition over here, although in the code I had other condition as well. Like if this is the second largest side, and the difference of them would be I think this is the necessary condition over here. So if this condition holds, if let's first sort the three sides such that a0 is less than a1 is less than a2. Then if a0 plus a1 is less than equal to a2, print none. Otherwise what we can do is we can put all the numbers in set and count the number of possible values in set. So otherwise let n equal to length of set of a. Then if n is 1, all the sides are equal, it's equilateral triangle. If n is 2, then we know that two of the sides will be equal, so you should print isosceles. And if n is 3, then all the three sides are distinct, so you should print scalar triangle over there. Jumping onto the code for the same, if the sum of smaller, let's first sort all the sides, sum of smallest two is less than equal to the larger side, then print none. Otherwise take the size of set and then you can print values accordingly. Now I will move to the second problem. Second problem has two versions, so I will discuss some ideas for the second problem first, then I will move to the third problem, and then we will go to the fourth problem. So the third problem says you are given a 2D array points of size n into 2 represents integer coordinate of some points on 2D plane, where the point I is xi yi. We define the right direction as positive x-axis increasing x coordinate and left direction as negative x-axis decreasing x coordinate. Similarly, we define the up direction as positive y-axis increasing y coordinate and down direction as negative y-axis decreasing y coordinate. You have to place n peoples, including let's call CNT. Like I don't really understand like how to pronounce it. So sorry about that. CNT at this point such that exactly one person is at every point. C wants to be alone with T. So C will build a rectangle fence around C's position as the upper left corner and T's position as the lower right corner of the fence. Note that the fence might not enclose any area, that is, it can be a line. If any person other than C and T is either inside the fence or on the fence, then C will be set. Return the number of pair of points where we can place C and T such that C does not become sad on building the fence. Note that C can only build a fence with C's position as the upper left corner and T's position as the lower right corner. For example, C cannot build either the fence in the picture below with four corners 1, 1, 1, 3, 3, 1, and 3, 3. Like these are the 4 points. Because if C is at 3, 3 and T is at 1, these and these points, then C's position is not in the upper left corner and T's position is not in the lower right corner. Like you cannot form a triangle over here. Like you have a condition that C must be on this side. If this is T's position, then C must be in this area. With C at 1, 3 and T at 1, 3, T's position is not lower right corner of the face. Like if these are the 4 points you are looking for, then someone at this and this does not form the correct side of triangle. So like this was the idea. Like I will try to show like so like what we have to do is like we will have to first choose a point for C. Let's say this is the point, like these are the some random points in the grid view. Then let's say if this is the point we have chosen for C, then for T like these are the possible choices we have. Like it says like for one person the point should be upper left corner and the other point should be lower right corner. So for example, if we have chosen this as a point for one person, then the other points can be these only, like only on this side. All the points are possible for the other person. And what we need is like, let's say if we have chosen these 2 points, let's say if we have chosen these 2 points, then if we look at this rectangle, then it has one point inside it. So we are not allowed, sorry, like, yeah, just change that. So let's say these are the points on a plane. Then if we have chosen these 2 points, then you can see like if we form a rectangle using this, then there is a point inside this apart from those points on the corner. So this is also not a good rectangle we have. So like for example, and like if we look at the constraints for this problem, it says n is less than equal to 50. So what we can do here is like we can run a first for loop. Like for all the positions in P2, if like if P1 and T2 forms an area like this, like if this is P1 and P2 is in this area, then we can run a third for loop to see to count the number of points inside this rectangle. And if those number of points are greater than 2, then the answer is no, otherwise yes. And we can brute force it in using 3 maps over here to count all the possible points. Hello Nikita, like I ended up with penalties over here, so like not really. So I was able to solve all but was ranked 75. So like now I will try to code all the like the idea discussed so far. Now we have to first check if P1, like the necessary condition that P1 is in lower half is this. If this condition holds, this condition means like the x coordinate of P1 is less than P2, but the y coordinate of P2 is greater than P1. Then we can count. Like this would be the brute force for it. One second. Looks like I ended up messing some cases over here. Okay, yeah. It's not like I only talk to top guys. Just that I have interacted with Nikita many times on Discord server. So like that was the only reason. Okay, one second. Yeah. So like this was the idea. Like we can fix the two corner points, and if one is on, if we are able to form a rectangle such that one is the left top corner and the other is right corner, then we can try to count all the points which would be formed by these 2 points as the rectangle. And if the count is 2, like like at least 2 points will definitely be there because P1 and P2 were the points. And like we can also add a condition over here, like we do not want a single point over there. So like this was the brute force idea. Like now in the fourth problem, if you will see like the n is up to 1000, so you won't be able to run a for loop over here to count all the points. So like we will discuss some different idea to count like the number of points inside given 2 points over there. So I will leave that for the fourth problem. And like any questions on the first two problems so far? Like let me see. Okay, Upmanyu says this got accepted for him for Q4 too. Like I won't be surprised if it gets accepted, but not really so. Like at least the constant smell like it won't be accepted. Okay, people says it gets accepted. Like let me code it. I got TL in Python at least. And like the constant factor might be low that C++ code of this version can get an easy. So like the third problem says, you are given an array nums of length and a positive integer k. A subarray nums is called good if the absolute difference between first and last element is exactly k. In other words, the subarray I to j is good if the absolute value of num I minus num j is equal to k. Return the maximum sum of good subarray of nums, and if there are no good subarrays, print return 0. So like here, if we look at the examples now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the absolute difference allowed is k. So like the possible arrays are 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, and 5, 6. And if you look at the maximum sum among this would be for 5, 6, which would be 11. And if you look at minus 1, 3, 2, 4, 5, and the absolute difference should be exactly 3. So minus 1 up to 2 has difference 3. In here the sum is 5. Sum is 4. 3 to like no array ends with 3. If we look at 2, like 2, 4, 5 is also another array where the absolute difference between 2 and 5 is 3. And the sum over here is 11. So like among the two possible arrays, the maximum is 11 for the array 2, 4, 5. And now the third example is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the absolute difference is 2. Then if you look at the possible arrays are minus 1, minus 2, and minus 3. This is one array. Minus 2, minus 3, and minus 4 is the other array. Here the sum is minus 6, and here the sum is minus 9. So we should print minus 6 over here. So like that was the idea for it. Like when I was solving this problem, I missed this exactly k, and I assumed that the difference should be less than equal to k. So I had some segmentary related idea for it, but when I realized it's exactly k, the problem became easy. Similarly, so like what we can do here is like let's look at the like constants are points are up to 1 if 5 and the maximum value is this. So what we can do is like if we want to find the sum of some subarray, first thing you should do is you should look at prefix sum idea. Like prefix sum is something defined as like if you have an array a1, a2, a3 up to an, then pi is defined as sum of values of a1 up till I. Like for example, let's take one of the sample input over here. Then here what we define prefix sum array is like if this is your array, sorry, if this is your array like first sample, then we can define prefix sum array as 0, minus 1, like the sum of minus 1 plus 3 is 2, 2 plus 2 is 4, 4 plus 4 is 8, and 8 plus 5 is 13. And like this has one important property over here. Like if you want to find the sum of array from L to R, then you can write it as sum of all the elements 1 up to R minus sum of all the elements 1 up to L minus 1. Like I am discussing problem C right now. And now if you look at it, like this is sum of first R elements and this is sum of first L minus 1 elements. So it becomes PR minus PL minus 1. And now what, like this is big of, like a time complexity would be big of order 1 if you pre-compute all the prefix sums. In ABC I discussed earlier, like you can check my streams. Now what we can try to do is we can run a for loop. Like we can iterate on all the endpoints for R1 to N. And let's say like we have value of AR. Then the possible starting point is index L such that AL is equal to AR plus K or AL equal to AR minus K. Like these are the only two possible values of L you have. So one way is what we can do is we can run a one for loop again. Try to check if these are the values of L. and then we use our prefix sum idea to do it. Like, let me show you like how we can do that. First, creating a prefix sum array. Like, I am shifting the array a by 1. Now what I can do is I need to maintain one boolean flag, because if no array exists I should print 0. Like, we can start with some infinity value. Like, let's first shift our array by 1. Like, left endpoint should be before right endpoint. Like, absolute value you can also define it like this. Like, we have found at least one array, so we should mark array exists as true as well. Like, the time complexity is order n square over here, and with n1e5 this will definitely get a TLE. But let's just submit it to check verify the correctness of this idea before we try to do optimization. Not really sure why it got unknown error, but it's definitely a TLE over here. Like, looks like it passed almost all the test cases except some test cases. Now the crucial idea, like, we only care about values of AL which are a difference of exactly k over here. What we can try to do is, and if you look at the formula over here, what we need is minimum value of L minus 1 such that value of AL is at a difference of exactly k from AR. So what we can do is, like, we can maintain a dictionary. The dictionary of V would contain minimum value of p sum l minus 1 when value of al is v. Like here the critical part is like this is the value, not the index. Like a dictionary which contains minimum value of p sum l minus 1 when the value of al is v. If we maintain it for all the values, left values, then we have to look at the value of, we have to only look at two values in this dictionary, which is respectively al, which is respectively ar plus k and ar minus k. And like if you find minimum value of this, then negative would be maximum value and p sum r minus p sum l minus 1 would be the maximum possible values. So the next idea over here is like if this value already exists, then we should take minimum with the existing value. Like we have to look at only two possible values of al. And in this case, we should also mark like at least one such value should exist. Okay, we need max. Right? Like, and someone in the chat was asking like, how do we do it if the difference is less than equal to k? Then my solution is like the idea is very similar to today's ad coder beginner contest. You try this problem and you can look at my solution discussion screen of this problem to see like how do you do. And for that you need a segment tree, something like that. And now we have the last problem of today. Like let's take our earlier code only. I don't think we can binary search for the value of k in the question 3. Like because for binary search we need a Puno city, like until some values are false and then some true. We cannot write a function like this for Q3. So like looks like I should have coded in like I will code this one in like C++. Or probably I can continue it over here. Like this is P2 only, right? Okay. So like the next idea I have used is like if you look at the values, like coordinates are until 1000 only. So the first thing I did was coordinate compression. Like the idea is like we look at the only existing value and we try to change it into like the first idea was I change coordinate x and y in range 1 to n because that will make our life a bit easier, as you will see later. And for that what we can do is like if we have an array like this, let's say, what we can do is we can we can change all the coordinates in that array such that the earlier order remains the same. For example, if ai is less than aj, then the new array bi should be less than bj. Here what we can do is we can mark the smallest number as 1, second smallest number as 2, third smallest number as 3, fourth smallest number as 4, and fifth smallest number as 5. So the main idea was like first you renumber all the coordinates so that your final coordinate, instead of in range -1e9 to 1e9, they are in range from 1 to n. And like here this is the technique known as coordinate compression. Like the and once we have changed all the given coordinates so that every coordinate is in range 1 to n, then the next idea I have used was 2D prefix sum array. Like 2D prefix sum denotes like we create a 2D array. Let's say we have an array of n cross n array. Then we can create a new piece sum array where the rj column denotes sum of all the numbers with left coordinate in range row in range 1 to I and column in range 1 to j. Like I will try to simplify it one. Like we have a11, a12, a13, a14, so on. Like here, let's similar to idea. What I was trying to do was like let's say p sum. I am maintaining a p sum rc, which is sum of elements with row among the first r row and column among the first r columns. Like for example, p sum 2 comma 3 will be sum of elements, these elements. P1 comma 3 would be these elements. P3 comma 1 will be these elements. P3 comma 1 will be these elements. P3 comma 3 would be these elements. P3 comma 3 would be some of these elements. The main idea was like once we have changed all of the coordinates in 1 comma n, then we can try to find the number of coordinates in the given range, from we would be able to find, for any given rectangle we will be able to find the number of coordinates in that range using the similar prefix sum idea we had. And the way to do it would be, and let's say we want to find the area of this rectangle, count the number of points in this rectangle. Then what we can do is, we can count the number of points in this rectangle, and then we can subtract the number of points in this rectangle and this rectangle. And now if you look at it, we have subtracted this area twice, so we should add it once again. To summarize again, if we want to count the number of points in this area, what we can do is, we can count the number of points in this area, then we can subtract the number of points in this area and the number of points in this area. And because we have subtracted this area twice, so we should add the number of points in this area once. If we do that, then the number of points remaining would be the number of points in this part over here. And that was my idea. Why 2D segmentary fails, sir, I had to then use prefix sum to pass it. The problem with 2D segmentary is the time complexity would be log square extra over there, while the prefix sum area would be order 1 time complexity. And that was the idea. And I will try to take the doubts of previous problem again once I am done with this. So what, let's first compress all the x coordinates and y coordinates. Mhm. You can also use binary search to find it. Let's add some infinity as well. Like I'm renumbering all the points such that the smallest number gets 1, second smallest number gets 2, x coordinate, third smallest coordinate gets x3. Now what I can do is, now same prefix some idea. First, let's mark all the points which are present over here. Like like the same inclusion exclusion idea is there even to find this prefix sum array at first. Number of points from 0 to up till xr and y up till yr. Then subtract the number of points on from row side. And now we have subtracted like all the points in this rectangle 2 times. And the smallest y coordinate is p21. Yeah, it should be y coordinate. Okay. Not really sure why list is not working over here. Okay, it says out of index. Okay, why is one of the point 6 over here? Mm-hmm. Yes, like these variation of B where instead of brute forcing, we should count prefix sum to get order and log speed. Okay, this must be case, sorry. Okay, this is count points. If there are some doubts, I can take them now before I end this stream. I will go through the chat ones. Someone says I got W on Q3 because I use int min instead of long min. Right. So like one quick hack to decide which one to do is like either you just use long everywhere or you look at like the output type as well. Like here the output is long, so you should use long mint. If the had the output been int, the you should use int min, and that should be the way to do it. N square plus n log n intended. I'm not sure like which problem are you talking about. Okay, MPB pranav, third problem. And like, can someone say like the n log cube solution of D that passed over here? Like at least in Python that gets TLE and I did not try coding it on that one. And sorry, hey Mercy, next time I will try to reply everyone. And Upmanu is asking in problem like B and D, 1 and 3, 1 is allowed, but 1 and 1 3 is not allowed. Like you can also take 1 and 1 3, like if you choose like the points for C and T correctly. Because the idea is one of them should be on upside, but 1 and 1 3 will only form a straight line over there with area 0. You can choose that if there are no points in between the triangle. Yeah, like this condition is a bit confusing over here. Like Like this is 1 comma 1 and this is 1 comma 3. If you correctly choose, then this can be the top left corner and you can form a triangle like this. And even 1 comma 1 and 3 comma 1 can work. If you correctly choose this as the position for the top left, like the main idea is if you try to visualize it, this is how this triangle looks like with area 0. So this can be one of the points and this can be the other point. Similarly, you can visualize this as this triangle, and this can be one of the points and this can be the other point. All you have, like you will have to choose like which one is the point for C and which one is the point for T. Like for P inside, if you only run that loop, if P1 and P2 are valid, that is upper left and right, lower left respectively, then it will be an AC since constraints are just 1000. At least in Python, that's what I did. But like there is a runtime difference between Python and C++ over here. Like if I look at my submissions, not really sure why it's not showing here, but yeah. Like okay, can you explain C again? Okay, the idea for C was since we need difference exactly K, what we can try to do is we can run a first for loop and try to fix the value of AR. Now we only like the possible values of AL here is either AR minus K or AR is AR plus K. Like only for these two values of AL, the value would be exactly K. And then we also add the prefix sum idea, like the sum of array AL to R is P sum R minus P sum L minus 1. So what we, if we have fixed like the position R, then this value is fixed. So to find the maximum sum, we should find the minimum value of this over here. So that when we multiply it by minus sign, we get a maximum possible value. And like we can overall take the maximum sum for this one. Now the next idea was, we also maintain a dictionary. Let's call it dsum, where the value of dsum v is minimum value where aidx is v. Minimum value in prefix sum, akka p sum. Then the next idea was like we can use this dsum dictionary to only check these two values to find the minimum possible value of this over here. And like the main critical part was that this dictionary is based on the values instead of the index over here. like minimum p sum by value. Then if you look at it, like I am maintaining, if looking at the current value, if this already exists in the map, then take it with the current value in the map and like new value, otherwise put it in the map. Like s- looks like in the comment a lot of people chase d using brute force, but at least although the lead code contest says that they can add more tests later, but I am fine with them not adding tests later because I can be on the other receiving end the next time. Like next time I can try to chase a problem, and then if lead code adds problem, then that's problem. Like I'm able to only solve one problem. Any tips? Like the question is like, what is your goal? Like are you looking for an internship job in the next 6 months, or like you have some 1 2 years? Like if you are in the first or second, like in the first 3 semesters or something, I would suggest like you also start doing ad code or beginner contest. But if you are just right now looking for an internship or some placement, then you should try to probably solve some easier problem. So like you can first start with these top 100 easy problems, medium problems, and then move further. Like the easy problems, once you have done enough easy problems, like you would be able to solve easy problem in every contest, and then medium. And like if you are able to solve the first problem, you can probably try to do some medium and easy problem. And I believe like there are some lead code lists as well, like blind 75 or something like that. You can try to solve them. And I think like lead code also has like one daily problem, something like that. And like a lot of YouTubers create video editorial on them. So you can try to solve them and then search on editorial. So like someone is asking, I am 2023 pass out and I am good with graphs, Springboard API development, etc. and DSA, but I am not getting any interviews. Like what should I do? Like my suggestion would be like just keep trying. Like grind is the only way. And like right now the market situation might not be really good. So there might not be a lot of vacancies. But we don't have any choice but to rather keep trying, and like eventually let's hope ki like you will land somewhere. All the best for that. So like thanks everyone for joining. I guess I will end this stream now.